Okay, Shalom Aleichem, I get the Vach. We're going to do another 10 minutes, Sichos Haran. So we're up to Ches, number 8. Yeah. So Nachman explains the following. He says, Kishloimden mile defarnisa, when we're studying, Torah, things that deal with tragedy. Whether we're learning the halachas of Avelis, mourning, or similar, related stuff. Ein la'ayin sham. We shouldn't, delve too deeply into, that subject. Harveit, too much. Ki ein tzrich lahamek hamachshava b'mekoymes ke'eli. He says because we don't need to, delve too deeply with our thoughts into this type of topics, because he explains ki hamachshava yesh la toikev gadol. Our thoughts have a great, power. As he explained in some, in a different place. He says, therefore, therefore, when we learn these subjects, that deal with tragedy, related stuff, we should just, go through it quickly. Just don't get too deep into it, because our thoughts are very powerful. Okay, that's Ches, number test. We're going to go at 9, continuing. The following, B'Shem Haval Shem Tov Zechron Levracha, Rach was saying over the name of the Baal Shem Tov, which was his great grandfather. Right. The following, Shesakin Ein Noisen B'Matana, that we don't give a sakin as a knife. He said the following, that we shouldn't give a knife as a present, as a gift. Hani, meaning She'echad Layitin L'Chaver Sakin B'Matana. This is what he says. B'Shem the Baal Shem Tov doesn't explain anything more, but it says that this is something that we shouldn't do. We shouldn't give a knife. So practical, just what it seems. We shouldn't, buy a gift, a knife. Each person for themselves. If you want to, take this practically, you buy the knives yourselves. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Continuing. Yeah, Yid 10. Yeah. The following, Harasham Heimalem Charatas. He says, the wicked, he's explaining this concept of the wicked, they're constantly full of regret. But we're going to see what that regret means. I continue with, so again, these are the wicked. Okay? Wicked, which, wicked, we're looking for wicked, we'll understand what wicked is. He says they are full of regret, but didn't even know what regret means. And explains further. He says that in itself, that they strengthen their wickedness, yeah. That in itself is what they regret, right? So they're basically always full of regret. Continuing, he explains. He's going to explain this, what goes on in their minds when they have thoughts of regrets. Again, these are the wicked. These are the let's not confuse. There's kasherim, people that are, taking it to the from people, trying to follow Torah mitzvahs, right? The Torah is their guide, their light. But we're not talking about over here people that, we fall into Averism. Rishon are the wicked. The wicked, okay? And he's saying that you do see that they're always full of regret, but he explains this is what's going on. They enters their mind, regret. Al-Kain says, therefore, they actually, when they have these regrets, they actually they get even stronger in their wickedness. He explains the following: so this is how, it's kind of how two people, when they're, battling one another, anyway. He says when the other, sees that his friend, that he's fighting is actually, winning over him. So, continuing, then the weaker one gets even stronger, he gets his extra strength, and he takes him over, right? Okay, this is, I guess, what you see like with these boxing matches, Continuing. Kamoichem mamash, he says, mamash the same. Keshehara, when the wicked inside, roya see shemaschel eza toiv, that's other epsilon. The wicked inside, this wicked person, see that there's some good thought that he's having, and it's that's being aroused inside him. Listen what he does. Then the wicked person, he actually gets even stronger in his wickedness, and he leaves off v'have, and he says, understand this well. Okay, continuing. Now he says, he says we should know this is a major concept, rule in service of Hashem. Continuing, he says, he says, even for all people, each person according to his level. He says the more a person wants to enter into service of Hashem, wants to more from, work on himself more towards avodas Hashem. Listen what happens. Rachman explained this Gaber Olav Habal Dover B'Yoser. The Baal Dover, which we'll soon see Nachman will explain why he calls the Baal Dover the Yitzchok, but we're referring to the Yitzchok that we have. He says the more we try entering avodas Hashem, the Baal Dover, okay, the Baal Dover Yitzchok, he strengthens himself even more in us. Like he explained in a different place. And he's explaining that Tzarech Li is maskul al dover, and we have to be very smart regarding this. If it's achpilas tasel machama, it's a quote from Mishlei, that with strategy we fight our wars, right? We need strategy. There's gaber ala ra, which is we have to make strategies how to overcome the bad. There's gaber is gadol b'chol pam. He says with major fighting, but each time. Okay, Ashrei Hazoiche Lenatzayach HaMelchama. It says, how fortunate is the one that's merits to triumph over this Melchama. Okay, this is a major chizuk over here, and yeah. Okay, we're gonna continue. We're gonna do another one. Yeah, Yud Aleph. Okay, 11. He starts. He says, Ashreini Shashem Yizbarach, how fortunate that Hashem hated money. He did good with us. Ma'oid, very good with us. Shezachini Lekdishas Yisrael, that we, talking to us, the front people, we merited to be the Kedushas Yisrael. We merited to be born as Jews. It's Ashreini, explains. Continuing, he says, Sheyesh Lai Simcha Gedola, this is Rav Nachman saying about himself, that he has major simcha al shezocha liyos be'eretz Yisrael, that he merited to be in Eretz Yisrael. Okay, what we didn't discuss it because we were just learning Sichos Haran, but if anyone knows the history, Rav Nachman made a trip to Eretz Yisrael from Ukraine. He made it, and it's actually recorded the whole journey, which Rav Nosson gathered, from the whole story, and he put it out, and what one will see is it was a major Mesiras Nefesh, his journey. And so Rav Nachman was saying now that he has, major simcha, that he merited to be in Eretz Yisrael. Okay, continuing. This is in the late 1700s. Continuing, he's saying there was so many setbacks, maniyas, and confused, confusion and many, thoughts, and major setbacks that he had regarding his trip. Regarding his trip there to Israel. He's saying, and he had major, setbacks, just monetary. Didn't have the money. He explains that he kofetz al kilomen. Kofetz means he jumped, and he jumped over them all. V'gomar ha'ivda b'shleimus b'hay be'eretz Yisrael, and he completed this task, b'shleimus, and he merited to be in Eretz Yisrael. And then he came back, obviously, Continuing, v'omar, he said, Zeh ani mama. He says, this I know, I believe, v'gamani yedei, so I know it with clarity. Harbe ben Yezeh. I know a lot, and I believe, regarding this whole thing. That all my actions and my thoughts and all my, avoidance, that I did that I did regarding any kind of service of kedusha. Ancient Tania, no action, ancient machshava nevedas klal, no action, no thought gets lost from all my hardships. Continuing, when a person merits to break all these setbacks, and to complete this, avoid of kedusha, as a Nasan explains that what happens is that a Nasan the cult then what happens with all these, different actions and thoughts and these confused thoughts, all these thoughts that a person has before he's able to break through, whatever his avoidance of kedusha is trying to do. Yeah, but from the time while he's going through it, he was, he was unsure and he was confused. And he basically, stood firm and he, tried his best to, calculate, what the right thing is. And all these setbacks held him back pretty much from all sides. Continuing, afterwards, when he merited to, pretty much to overcome all this, and to break it all, and then what happens is, after he broke through, or a person breaks through from all these setbacks and these confused thoughts, and then what happens is that these things, these confused thoughts, setbacks, they actually become on high, very, very high, merits. I call nirsham lamal and everything gets basically recorded and above, in Shemayim for good. Kol tniya shoylem canal. Every little tiny thing, it's mamish. If you're able to overcome it, it gets all recorded for the good. Ashrek is he says, how fortunate is if you merit likboit al kolomanias to basically, he's saying to jump over all these setbacks. The zoichen ligma velas is if the taiva, and to merit to complete, and do any kind of if the taiva. Okay, that's the end of 11. This is also a very powerful chizuk. So to sum up, this one is, Nachman's explaining, his journey to Eretz Yisrael, which maybe we'll do that at a later time. We'll go through that journey. It's tremendous. It's an amazing story. But he's explaining that I believe, he says, and I know that every little thought, confused thing, all the hardships, literally everything, in the end, it gets recorded, and it's for Toiv, and it's good. And he finishes off, Ashrik is likbois. I was just going to focus on the word likbois, is to jump. So imagine, you're walking in the street and there's a puddle, don't walk in the puddle, jump it over, dance in the rain. Basically, whenever you want, and then we'll tie this into the Sichos Haran from before, number 10, where he's explaining how the Yetzer Hara works, mamash. The Yetzer Hara, whenever we try to do any Ivda Kedusha, it gets to work. So basically, we gotta always be on guard, and we know there's a Gemara that says, Haba l'tayar, you come, you say, Hashem, I wanna be Matar, Messiah, and all you say, you're gonna get help, special help. Okay, we're gonna stop here. I get the Vach.